Good morning, traders. It is Thursday, the 15th of January, 2026. And we've got a great next couple of days ahead of us. For no other reason than we're going to get a chance to see some new activity from my personal trading, and perhaps that'll generate a little bit more rate of return that you can actually follow in real time now when I start doing my broadcast on Saturdays. I hope that'll be the case. I've got a couple things ironed out. It looks like I won't be able, since it's the 15th already, Thursday. Um, I'm going to have to, I'm just going to wait until, Sunday overnight when the new week starts because it took this long to get everything wrapped up. But it's all good. So I think you'll like what you see, and it'll give you a chance to maybe get a little more deeply involved to see if you like what you're presented with. Obviously, the goal here is to make money, and uh, I know that if you follow the protocols down here at netwinningtrader.com, you'll be very happy. So that being said, let me go ahead and get you started for today's Traders Daily Discipline. And here's our quote to get us rolling. If you're willing to fail interestingly, you tend to succeed interestingly. And that's from Edward Albee. For those of you that don't know who Ed is, he's gone now, but he was a playwright. He wrote Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Also won a Pulitzer Prize for best, uh, I guess you'd say, fiction. Anyway, interesting guy. And I love this quote. I think it's very apropos for us as traders when we give thought to what it means to fail and what it means to succeed. See, a lot of people, the only thing they measure in life is their bank account, and I think that's a mistake. There's a lot more to life and living than just how much money you're accumulating. I know you've probably heard this a million times. You can't take it with you. So what are you doing with it while it's here? I saw interesting. I guess you call it a Facebook reel. Saw one not too long ago where uh, gentleman went to his local, I guess you'd say, retail store, and took a pile of money, a couple grand, and got like $25, $50 gift cards, Visa or MasterCard gift cards. And he passed them out to homeless and needy people. And he said, well, it's a creative way of taking my cash and actually giving a tangible help to someone. Says, I mean, there's soup kitchens and places to go to sleep, and all those things are good, but when maybe you're out on the street for a while, you need a toothbrush, or maybe you'd like to get a change of socks. You know what I mean? And a lot of those places that provide help for the person, they don't really give it all away. I mean, I remember the reason that it made an impact on me is because as somebody who enjoys camping, there's times when I'd plan a camping trip for a week or a week and a half, and I'd run out of stuff, and I'd be in the middle of nowhere, and I go, gee, I forgot to bring toilet paper. You really have to think about interesting and creative ways of solving people's problems. Gift cards to the homeless, great idea. It was an interesting way to succeed differently by taking the money that maybe he would be giving away anyway, but doing it in a way that makes a little bit better sense, maybe. If you're willing to fail interestingly, you tend to succeed interestingly. As far as traders go, we go back to the issue of how we're going to be earning our bankroll. What is it that is a failure to you? How are you defining success or failure? For me, one of the ways I define a failure is not keeping proper or accurate records. Sometimes I just get so busy I forgot to journal. I forgot to record when I made trade errors or mistakes. I forgot to write down my trade executions, and I go back and at the end of the week I realized there's two or three trades I didn't record. How could, that's important data to keep track of. So now for me, part of the way I put out there that, hey, you're failing at what you do, you got to be careful here, is if my record keeping starts to go lax. You got to be careful with that. That's one of the things that I count as a failure in my approach, is if I don't keep up on top of my record keeping. And before I go too much further on that, you need to be watching your inboxes for when I produce one-off type videos or pieces of data. I add to the content at Net Winning Trader all the time with free stuff. All you have to do is sign up for it. So I send it out once, and then I post it on Net Winning Trader. Well, one of the things that I'm going to do next month in February is an introduction to my record keeping. I want you to see how I keep track of everything, because I think you'll be amazed at the data I collect around my day-to-day participation and how that makes a difference in my approach and my method. Isn't that what you want? You want help with your method, right? You want to get better and better and better at this and earn the rates of return that you are really capable of. Well, part of that, I believe, comes from record keeping. So if I'm not keeping good records, I'm failing. It's not just about the money. I could make a whole lot of money this week and not keep good records, and I would consider it a failing week. But that's me. That's not everybody, right? But I think what Ed is talking about here is he says, look, you got to get out there and let your creativity dictate what you're actually doing. And if it turns out that your new idea that you had on how to figure out where the winner and the loser might be squaring off in the markets, maybe that new idea just really was BS. Didn't really make any difference, did it? Well, okay, that's no worries. It's part of life. What happened there? What did you learn from that? How do you apply that to your success level for the next time? Uh, Maintain the point of view that failure and success are unique to the trader. There really isn't any one way to do it. As I tell my students for my psych class all the time, there's no right or wrong way to trade. There's only things that lead closer to a winning methodology that you can enforce, and things that lead away from a winning methodology. So what are the things that are causing you to fail or move away from a winning approach? Those might be unique to you. What are those things? And then compare those to how you're managing the successful parts of what you're doing, and become encouraged all the time by your successes, even little ones. I'm going to leave you with this before we sign off, and that is that every success that you make, even the little ones, whatever those are, however you're defining it, those are important enough that you've got to focus on those every day. If one of the things you're doing right is being at your desk on time before the markets open and looking at each market you trade before the open and creating what you're going to do that day, if that's one of the things you do regularly all the time, that is a successful method. That's something that leads to a successful method. Even if every time you do that, you set up your day and you do all your trades for the day, you're constantly losing money, you can fix that part. But the discipline to be at your desk ready every day to take full advantage of the opportunity that comes along, that's a skill set that you want to keep. Don't get discouraged and quit going to the office on time. You know what I mean? All right, anyway, I'll let you get to your day. Thank you for taking a little extra time this morning. And I'll look for you guys on Friday, the 16th, tomorrow, for the next Traders Daily Discipline. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.